Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of FPI News. So what has been happening in the regulatory world? What is it that you need to be aware of this week? So for starters, let's have a look at the FSCA spoke about and issued a warning on the mule bank account scam. So what is the mule bank account scam all about? So this is where you have individuals of South Africa who's in dire straits, financial problems that they have, and then you will have criminals that would approach them to say, hi, can I use your bank account to pay some money in and to withdraw it again? Or even worse, they ask members of the public to open a bank account on their behalf. So this is in short what the mule bank account scam is all about. So what the FSCA has issued is they have issued a warning to say that consumers, in order to protect themselves, they should never allow their bank accounts to be used for anything else than their own personal use. And I think what is a bit sad here is that, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if you are being found guilty of letting your account being used by criminals to wash money, you will unfortunately be up for some serious crime time. So please stay away from these individuals who is approaching you. And again, it is known as the mule bank account scam. So that was the warning issued from the FSCA to take care of. Then also staying with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, they have released a draft position paper on open finance. So what is open finance all about? So everybody at some point in time punch in your bank account details to maybe buy something from takealot.com, you're ordering a pizza, whatever the case may be, you are entering your banking details into the open finance system. So what then happens is these details or the data belongs to you. But many a times the financial institutions has to actually interact with a third party like Takealot or like the place where you buy your takeaways from. So what the draft paper is all about is we have to bear in mind that the Conduct Authority only regulates and looks after financial institutions and not necessarily these third parties. So this paper is all about how safe is your data with these third parties. So have a look at that paper. Public comment is due in August at some point in time. If you don't know where to find these papers, all of it is actually on the Financial Sector Conduct Authority's website under papers open for consultation. So those feedback or the feedback into that draft regulation, which is known as the draft position paper on open finance, is due on the 15th of August. And you could pop an email to fintech@fsca.coza with your response into that document. Then also staying with other comments that's due in August. I'm not sure if you know, but the draft marriage bill is actually out for public comments, and that is due to the Department of Home Affairs the 31st of August. So what is the draft marriage bill all about? So a little while ago, you might recall that the Constitutional Court declared the Divorce Act unconstitutional, and it dealt with a Muslim marriage. So the draft marriage bill at this point in time is aiming to look at the Civil Unions Act, the Marriage Act, as well as customary marriages in South Africa. But it also looks at the branch of family law. So it looks at Children's Act to say that individuals younger than 18, for instance, cannot get married. So have a look at the draft marriage bill that's out for public comment on the 31st of August. Then I do have to talk about ChatGPT a little bit. So what is happening in this space, and how are banks making use of ChatGPT and other large language models to change banking? So what we can see in the banking sector, some of the developers are using ChatGPT to help prevent fraud coming through emails, for instance. So ChatGPT is clever enough to say, here's an email that comes in, it actually looks like fraud. But the one that has me a little bit worried is where a big bank is looking at trademarking their own technology, which they call Index GPT. And that Index GPT actually helps customers to select some investments, and that's part of wealth management and the broader scheme in the banking sector. So quite interesting to see how the banking sector is making use of the large language models and actually come up with their own version of ChatGPT. So interesting developments there. Then in closing, please remember that we have the Retirement and Investment Conference coming up the 30th of August. Yes, this is our very own Retirement and Investment Conference that we will be hosting. It's online and it's from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can earn up to 6 CPD hours, obviously in the technical field. And these CPD hours are verifiable CPD hours. Let's quickly have a look at who the speakers are and the topics. We have Hugo van Veen, who will look at cryptos in the investment space. And then we have Martinez Barnard, who will look at secure in risk, where he will look at the diversification within a life annuity. We look at post-retirement planning in a life annuity. Then Paul Nixon, who's no stranger to us, will look at investments and AI and how that actually play together. We will have the Institute for Retirement Funds also talking to us about the two-part system. And we'll also welcome back Lelane Bezuidenhout to come and talk to us about the two-part system from a practical point of view as well. So if you want to give feedback into any of the documents that I've mentioned about, have a look at the Conduct Authority's website. And if you want to register for the Retirement and Investment Conference, you can do so by going to www.fpi.co.za. Just click on events and complete the registration process. With that, it's a wrap. See you next week.